They also call it quiet dumping. When your partner chooses only do the bare minimum required to date you without, not dating you or breaking up. Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. Want to welcome back Treva, Brandon, Scharf, author, relationship coach, dating expert. And besides that, you're the host of Done Being Single with your husband, Robbie. We'll link to all of your information. And well, today is a little bit more of a serious topic, perhaps. The whole notion of quiet quitting.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk with you about. Have you heard about quiet quitting in relationships?
Yes. And how I spin it is more of as it pertains to dating.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we've all been there in marriages and relationships where you feel like you are putting forth all this effort. It's not matched. It's not equal. I'm not going to bust my ass for this. I'm not going to just open my mouth. I'm just going to kind of quietly disengage, I guess.
That's a key word, is disengage. And maybe we should give more of a formal definition for anybody that hasn't heard it yet, because it's actually here, one of the articles, some great articles, you Google it, there's all kinds of stuff on it, but it's when you slowly step back and dial down the passion and motivation for your relationship, that reducing your investment in the relationship and not engaging in the issues, and engaging is the key word there. And then for dating, well, when you first meet someone, that they also call it quiet dumping. When your partner chooses only do the bare minimum required to date you without, not dating you or breaking up. So yeah, it's interesting to me, particularly because this is something that's been going on forever. I mean, this is how relationships demise. But I love the fact that there's a word for it. We can actually focus on this and maybe do something about it and recognize it, right?
I'm still laughing about quiet dumping because that's what my husband does in the morning on the toilet.
Oh, Robbie.
Finally, there's a word for it.
Oh, Treva, you crack me. So let's talk about quiet dumping. Why do people do it?
Because they can't be bothered with confrontation. They can't be bothered having that conversation again. Oh my God, really? Do I really have to pull teeth? Do I really have to twist your arm to get you to do X, Y, and Z? Are we really having this conversation again? I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to sort of, ignore for now, turn the other cheek, and hope that that person steps up or gets the hint. It's sad. It's almost like if you have to quietly quit, you should just quit.
Exactly. Is it? And gosh, Treva, I could identify with this so much. We're going to go over the signs where you recognize either if you're doing it or if somebody's doing it to you, if it's being done to you. But this is something I totally identify with. And I think that's why I like this topic, and hopefully our viewers will as well. Yeah. One of the main reasons, quiet quitting means that, you're slowly leaving, or maybe you're not. Maybe you'll stay. Like I stayed for 10 years. I slowly disengaged. And had I known this word, I might have focused on that.
Yeah. But the sad part is you stayed in it, and did you slowly disengage? You slowly disconnected?
Absolutely.
Okay, but in the meantime, it sort of slowly killed your soul.
It absolutely slowly killed my soul. Took all joy out of life. And that's why, I've talked about this on other segments. When I turned 50, it was like, oh my God, am I going to keep going like this? That's the awakening. And no, I'm not. So let's go over some of the specific signs. I think that will be helpful. Again, disengagement being the key word for quiet quitting. The one, like some of the key ones here, they're not paying attention to you at all. You try to engage in conversation and you just repeatedly ignored.
Yeah, that's just tuning out. That's just, stone cold rude.
Yeah. Well, then lacking intimacy Yeah, but I guess that's obvious. You've used to have intimacy, even just, touching,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden all that is gone. There's no explanation for it.
Yes. It's like a slow death. Let's
Mhm.
just call it what it is. It's painful. It pains me to even talk about this. I'm sorry you went through that for 10 years.
Well, and it wasn't done to me. I'm the one that did it, which is maybe even worse. I wasn't going to end. To me, it was not an option to end the relationship. Why? I don't know. And that's another reason. Why do people quiet quit? We didn't have kids together. I mean, he had kids, stepkids. There was certain commitments, but that's a big reason why people quiet quit in
Of course.
relationships versus,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
there's
yeah.
some sort of obligation or
Right.
implied obligation, or you just don't know what's on the other side. Is the grass greener? You're scared to
Right.
leave and take that. So it's all
No,
understand.
no, totally get it. Devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's another great sign, I think. You no longer discuss the future, or if you're dating, you don't discuss, they won't discuss a future
Yeah.
with. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good sign. That's a sign they don't want to get any deeper or more serious. That could even include not introducing you, if this is not already in the article, I'm adding this,
Yeah.
not introducing you to their friends and family and kids. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's like pre-quiet quit. If it ain't, if they're not quitting now, it's and here's the thing about this quiet quitting. The other person makes it so untenable
Mhm.
that you have no other option, no other choice than to say, what's up,
Mhm.
have the conversation, that talk,
Mhm.
and or say I'm out. And I had a lot of those, and they were kind of cowardly in a way. And I just want to say one thing about quiet quitting. It can be the least painful way out, but it can be also super cowardly,
Mhm.
sort of self-abusive for yourself if you're on the receiving end of quiet quitting, of someone who's quietly quitting you,
Mhm.
and you put up with it.
And here's some more signs. And now this is when it really hit me. It's like you avoid conversations that could resolve conflict. You really don't want to fix anything. like it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll read a couple of these and let's talk about it. But try not to be home when your partner is. Oh my God, that was me. And I worked out of the house, so this was really difficult. And I don't want to make it all about me, but I think that a lot of people, both men and women, will be able to identify with this. And I think that's why it's so important. If you do recognize this, you can do something about it. Like you said, you can talk about it, and there's ways to talk about it. But first, you have to recognize that this is, or even be courageous enough to admit that this is what's going on. Here's a couple more. Oh, talk to everyone about your relationship except your partner. That did that.
Did that.
Being in the same physical space, but avoid touching your partner. Big time. And then here, believing that things will never change, so there's no need to try. Absolutely.
Right. So, question for you. When you got to that point, why did you stay? If you knew that there was really no future, no real reason to work it out, how come you didn't just?
Well, I come from a family, and this is another reason why people quiet quit, when there's shame associated with divorce, or the breakup. I was like the first person to get divorced in my family, and that bothered me. Then it was 25 years. Am I crazy to throw away 25 years of marriage, even though the last 15 sucked?
Yes.
So yeah, there's certainly reasons
Yeah.
for it, not maybe good reasons, but understandable understandable
Yes.
reasons. And then finally you have enough, and then by that time it's too late to fix anything. And that's why I think, again, this topic is important, that we
Yes.
now have a definition for maybe recognizing something like this sooner or later, either to fix it or just get the hell out.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear, because I was that person. You feel like you've put in all this time and energy and effort and all this investment, and you can't quit now. I mean, you just can't, for your right. It's a matter of pride.
Yep.
And it's also, there's a word for it, or saying for it. I think it's called sunk cost fallacy.
Oh, interesting. I've never.
Where you get in, you go so far. It's like with a business, and you can't stop because you're in too far, and you've invested too much money, and you just have to keep going. And this is where I'm all for quitting. I mean, I have a book coming out, as you know. I devote half a chapter to the power of quitting and how quitting can be the best thing for you, because it saves you all of this heartache and time, and it saves face. And it's weird, because in a way, quitting seems like, oh, you're a loser or you're weak, but it kind of doesn't. You're actually, it's the ultimate, the highest form of self-care, when you're able to say, no,
yeah,
I'm done. I quit. I'm out. I'm not getting my needs met, and this is just unfair, and it's not equal, and I'm miserable. So goodbye.
yeah. They say that if we start talking about what to do about it, really the only thing is to talk about it. But first, ask yourself questions. And this makes sense to me, and I want to ask you, because you're the one that counsels people on this, but is really understanding, like the question you asked me, why is this happening? Why am I staying? Right?
Yeah. Yes. You got to get super real, super quiet, super self-reflective, introspective, and ask yourself, is this worth it? Number one, why am I staying? Number two, what's on the line? Number three, what do I stand to lose or gain by leaving? Number four, I mean, you just have to really do a thorough assessment of your situation, your relationship, how much joy it's bringing you, how much pain it's giving you, and be real and honest. And that's kind of how you get to your answers.
Yeah, getting to the why, and then having that difficult conversation. I just did an interview with Sandy on that, how to have difficult conversations. That falls right into into this. So how do you bring it up? I mean, is there any tips before we close this discussion on how to bring that up, whether you're on the receiving end or you're the one giving it?
I've been there so many times. Here's what you do, I think, before you have the talk, the dreaded, where are we going? What are we? Not easy. It's not easy. I don't care if you're on which side of it you're on. It's just not easy. I think the best thing to do, if you have to have the talk, you sort of know your answer already. If you get to that point where it's been months or years. I mean, you may reveal something, may uncover some incredible truth or revelation, and that person may give you some honesty that you hadn't heard before, and it may open up a whole new sort of chapter to your relationship. But to go in with it, being okay with whatever the outcome is.
Yeah, that's great.
Prepare. I hate to say this, expect the worst.
And well, you have to know, am I okay if this ends?
Yes, and remind yourself you're going to be okay either way. In fact, you might be even better if you not so silently quit. If you just fucking quit, forget about being silent. You just go in with equipped with all the self-worth that you can muster up, and know that you did your best. You tried hard, you hung in. I mean, big props to you. And then whatever answer you get, then you can just spin it however you want. I mean, hopefully you won't take it personally, and hopefully you will be released of a situation that is not productive and dead weight.
Yeah. And I think that's good advice. Like I said, if you're dating, as you brought up in the beginning, is this going anywhere, or is this person not, are they just quietly quitting this relationship without breaking up with me? I want to end by saying this in my case, because I don't want to mislead people that I was a victim here. Had I known this earlier, I could have addressed it and maybe changed the course. And I think that's why this is not that I mean, I'm glad that's over with, and I don't think it would have. But once you let it build, as long as someone like myself did, it's almost impossible.
I give full props to people who hang in there and try and try and try to make it work. God bless. You're actually not a victim. You're strong and you're determined, and you're dedicated to what you, in your case, it was marriage, right? You took vows, and I totally applaud anybody who is listening to their highest good.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't leave a situation if I loved the person, if there was, there was good in it that I saw, but I would leave if it was repeated sort of death by 1,000 cuts.
Right, exactly.
This is not going anywhere. It's just untenable.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm interested in the comments again. We get such wonderful comments, and I.
Oh, your people. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I mean, you guys are the best viewers and listeners. I say this to Silke all the time. I have never seen such an engaged, smart. You guys are smart audience.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is a topic I think so many of us can identify with, because in a way, that's what second act is all about. So Treva, I thank you again. We're, again, something we can talk about forever, as I so often say. Then we're going to hold you over again. I will link to all of your information as usual. If you want some more clarification on what what's going on in your relationship, or looking for that special someone, and you might need a little help, give Treva a call. She's so fun to work with. And Treva, I will see you on our next segment on Second Act TV.
You got it. Thank you.